Good to see you, and welcome to part 2 in my series discussing the 7 ecclesiastical modes, aka the church modes. Today I'll be examining the Mixolydian mode. The natural Mixolydian scale starts on the 5th note of C major. Uses only the white notes, no sharps, no flats. However, I want to do my examples in C Mixolydian, which should technically be written in one flat. Key signatures outside our established major and minor are seldom used, with the exception of secular religious music. Music students know all the major and minor key signatures. 3 flats represents E flat major as well as C minor. 2 sharps represents D major as well as B minor. But how do I get my head around the fact that 5 flats, well, it could represent A flat Mixolydian? So if I'm playing an F Mixolydian, I'll use the F major key signature and provide an accidental to flatten the 7th note should I wish to create a Mixolydian feeling. Now the same principle applies to minor. I use the minor key signature and make sure I raise the 6th note a half tone when I wish to create a Dorian feeling. Let's look at C Mixolydian. The first thing to recognize is that by adding a 4th note to the tonic 1 chord, in this case the B flat, which is the whole tone below the root, will immediately create a dominant chord, which contains a tritone. Tritones activate dominant chords, creating the need to move to another chord. Just about the last thing you want when coming to a song's conclusion on the tonic. If I stay true to the Mixolydian mode, I think you'll agree that by using a 2-5-1 approach that we do in major all the time, in this case is not very satisfactory. You be the judge. 2, 5. Sure doesn't sound like I've arrived on the 1 chord. In fact, if anything, it wants to take me back up to the 4 chord. Now, 4 chord approach, since we're on it, is probably not a bad approach to the 1 chord in Mixolydian. Why not? It's a plagal cadence. In fact, you could use the 5 chord, in this case the G minor 7, to set up the 4 chord and on to the 1 chord. When Mixolydian is played, it has a laid-back feeling, especially when approaching the tonic from below. However, one should not ignore voice-leading principles unless you honestly believe that your arrangement sounds better by setting them aside. Now, what do I mean by voice-leading principles is that there are only 2 major modes, Ionian and Lydian, that have a leading tone by a half step when approaching the tonic from below. All the other modes have a whole step upward approach to the tonic. This means that in Mixolydian and Dorian, for example, the 7th note is physically closer to the 6th than it is to the tonic. So does that matter? Well, not really. Mode scales are certainly free to be played in any direction by step or by leap, but it does not stop one from considering a more interesting melodic approach. The flattened 7, in this case in Mixolydian, and all the minor modes in general, Aeolian and Phrygian, have a downward free-falling flow because of the lowered scale tones compared to that of major. So you get this free-flowing feel. That was Aeolian, and Phrygian even more so. However, when ascending the minor scale, moving upward, well, it's almost like you're fighting gravity. Approaching the tonic from above is absolutely no problem, whether it's major or minor. When creating melody that is leading to the tonic, one might consider taking advantage of the down notes to set up an upward leap in a springboard fashion to a scale position above the tonic and then returning to it. Down notes in Mixolydian are between the 4 and the 3 and the 7 and the 6 by half steps. So you could use those as a springboard to take us to the tonic. In fact, I could even leap up a 7th to get myself there. Action, reaction, leap. In fact, I could even leave out the 7 altogether. All the little tricks. However, remember, there is absolutely nothing wrong with approaching the tonic from the Mixolydian 7. It does give you that laid-back effect. Norwegian Wood, written by Lennon and McCartney, is said to be written in Mixolydian. Well, certainly the first part of it is. The only difference between C Mixolydian and C major, of course, is the B flat, in this case, the 7th. So keep your eye on the B flat and see how Lennon and McCartney handled that. All played over the C1 chord. Do you notice how that was handled? The guys could have written it, but they used some clever voice leading. What a nice touch. When it goes into the bridge, no, it's a different story. We're no longer in C Mixolydian, they take us into C Dorian. There's the Dorian 6. And listen how they get us back out of there and take us back to the beginning of the song as smooth as glass. See if you can figure out how they do that. Did you figure it out? Well, they just simply used a 2-5-1. However, the 5 was not from the Dorian mode, nor was it from the Mixolydian mode. It was from our major mode, Ionian, which of course creates that leading tone into the tonic, which makes a nice smooth move. And of course the use of the tritones that are in that 5 chord that make that all happen. Hey Jude, another song by the Beatles, is also said to be written in Mixolydian. Well, I do kind of take exception to that. It couldn't be more major than Flying to the Moon. In fact, it only uses the 3 primary chords in C major: 1, 4, 5, C, F, and G7. Give it a listen. I think you'll find it's all very much major. Couldn't be more major, even into the bridge. All major. However, when they reach the coda, the ending of the song, well, they jump into the 3 most overused popular chords in this case in C Mixolydian. The 7 chord, which goes down a perfect 4th to the 4 chord, like a plagal cadence. And another perfect 4th down to the tonic chord, the 1 chord, another plagal cadence. So you have those 3 chords and they just go in an endless loop. 7, 4, 1. All night long. I think that song came out of the movie The Party. The Royals, Sweet Child of Mine, use that loop. Won't Get Fooled Again by The Who, another group using it. Even Miles Davis from This album, Kinda Blue, uses those 3 chords in Mixolydian, including the Beatles. They just keep that in an endless loop. In fact, the coda, I believe, is longer than the song, so I guess it's not surprising people think that it was written in Mixolydian. Regardless of the mode you wish to explore, seldom are they completely diatonic. That's worth repeating. Regardless of the mode you wish to explore, seldom are they completely diatonic, meaning using only the notes and harmonies found within them. To do so would quickly lead to missed opportunities and not to mention boredom. In major, the vast majority of well-written songs certainly do not stay with the scale chords and notes. For a variety of reasons, harmony and melody are borrowed from other modes and reintroduced back into the major format. Not unlike 4 minor, which is used all the time. Delving into other modes can be a rewarding experience. Each unique mode has something to offer, but hopefully not at the expense of awkward voice leading and harmony movement. In part 3, we're going to be looking at the frigid mode, and I can assure you there'll be more surprises waiting for you. So until then, please subscribe, keep well, keep healthy, don't forget to be kind to others, and goodbye for now.